There is a voice that calls to every soul, a voice older than the mountains, stronger than the oceans, and softer than a whisper. It is the voice that spoke light into darkness, the voice that breathed life into dust, the voice that still says, "Come home." The world is loud, but his voice is steady. The world is chaotic, but his voice is peace. The world is temporary, but his voice is eternal. And every day, that voice reaches for you. Not because you are perfect, not because you are worthy, but because you are his. The Psalms say that the Lord is a shepherd who searches for the lost, a refuge for the broken, a fortress for the weak. They say he is close to the crushed in spirit, that he heals the wounded heart, that he lifts the head of the ashamed. They say his mercy is new every morning, his love stretches farther than the horizon, and his faithfulness outlives every failure. And yet so many run from him, not because he is far, but because the world is loud, not because he is hidden, but because our hearts are distracted, not because he is weak, but because we are convinced we are strong enough without him. But the Proverbs warn us. There is a way that seems right to a person, but it ends in emptiness. It ends in exhaustion. It ends in a life that looks full on the outside, but is hollow on the inside. A life built on sand, a life built on noise, a life built on everything except the one who made it. And still, Jesus stands at the door and knocks. He doesn't force his way in. He doesn't shout over your chaos. He doesn't compete with your distractions. He waits. He waits for the moment your soul finally whispers, "I can't do this alone." He waits for the moment your heart cracks open just enough for his light to slip in. He waits for the moment you realize that every other well you've been drinking from has left you thirsty. Because he is the living water. He is the bread of life. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And without him, everything else is just noise. The Psalms say that the Lord is your light and your salvation, so why fear? The Proverbs say that trusting in the Lord with all your heart will straighten every crooked path. Jesus says that anyone who comes to him will never be cast out. This is not religion. This is rescue. This is redemption. This is rebirth. You don't come to Jesus because you have it all together. You come because you don't. You come because you're tired of pretending. You come because the world promised you peace and gave you anxiety. You come because the world promised you freedom and gave you chains. You come because the world promised you happiness and gave you moments that faded like smoke. But Jesus gives rest. Jesus gives purpose. Jesus gives identity. Jesus gives life, real life, eternal life, life that doesn't collapse when storms come, life that doesn't depend on circumstances, life that doesn't break when your heart does. The Psalms say that those who trust in the Lord are like mountains that cannot be moved. The Proverbs say that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Jesus says that anyone who builds their life on his words is like a house built on rock, unshakable, unbreakable, unstoppable. So hear this. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. You are not too dirty. You are not too late. Grace outruns guilt. Mercy outweighs shame. Love overrules sin. Jesus didn't come for the perfect. He came for the desperate. He came for the wandering. He came for the ones who know they need saving. He came for you, right now, right here, in this moment. So stop running, stop hiding, stop pretending you're fine. Lift your eyes, open your heart, call on his name. Because the same God who split seas, who calmed storms, who raised the dead, who carried the cross, who conquered the grave, is reaching for you. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. This is your moment. This is your turning point. This is your invitation. Choose Jesus. Choose life. Choose the one who chose you first.